Welcome to this training on using item authored assessments in Mastery Connect. This will be an introduction to using the wide variety of items that are available for teachers to create that can be automatically scored for students to have a sample of some really great items in Mastery Connect. This is not simple work, and if you would need to pause, play, and repeat any of this, I would encourage you to do so and follow along as I'm doing it. There are also a series of videos and other resources that will be below this video in our Canvas course, as well as are available through the online PD portion in Mastery Connect. So let's get started. We're going to first go under Assessments, where we see the option for the item bank. So under Assessments, we see the option for item bank. This is where I'm first going to create the items or questions, and then I will at the end add these questions to an assessment. Okay, so we're going to go in and click Add Item. I'm going to title this item. You generally would want to title them somewhere where you can find them easily. I'm not going to model that well right now, but you would want to model it and name them in a way that there's a convention that you understand what these questions are. Maybe that's by the type of assessment or by the standard. Either way, I'm just going to call this Q1 for the simple fact that I will not use this after this training. So we're going to do a choice matrix. Look at all the different items, by the way. There are many. And so there's a guide to using each of these. Choice matrix is the one I'm going to showcase right now in dummy class of mine on science in the old core, and I can see how I can automatically connect those to existing trackers or maps so that I know I'm getting the right standards. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to connect these to SC1. Okay, so with that, I can also add in additional standards, or I can use Bloom's taxonomy to rate these, or the difficulty, or the DOK level as well. Those are all optional. Okay, so continue here. Now I get into my choice matrix question, where I can offer, it shows me a little preview on the right and how to work with it on the left. So instead of this is the stem at the top, I will say choose the appropriate options below, let's say. And stem 1 will be, maybe I'm going to have a series of animals that are, so I'm going to say human, I'm going to say monkey, I'm going to say fish, and I am going to say something like a, let's say a spider. Okay, and I'm going to have them basically classify these in 2 options or more. I could add different options. I could say mammal or not a mammal. Okay, that's very simple and straightforward. You could also add in different categories, of course, here, as many as I want to. For this example, this is all I'll do. And now I can start to set the correct answers. So humans and monkeys are mammals, fish and spiders are not. I can also shuffle these if I want. So every time they come in, they see a different order. Okay, I can do that. I can also make it so there's multiple different responses. So there's multiple different things that are correct. Maybe I could select both those. In this case, you can't be a mammal, not a mammal, so I'm not going to worry about that. I'm going to shuffle the responses. And what you'll notice right now is that if I were to try this assessment item out, which I can try over here, it's all out of 1 point, which you might not want, right? So as I do this, I go, maybe I get this right, but this one's wrong, and this one I get right. Now you notice I still have 0 points until I get this one right. So maybe you want to give them 3 out of 4 on this instead of 0 out of 1 for getting one wrong. If you do, the options here are actually under more options to change how these are scored. So instead of scoring them as exact match, meaning all things need to match the answer key, I can give a partial match per response. Okay, and so the partial match per response will mean now I'll change this to be out of 4 points. Sorry, I didn't need to do that. That's going to give 4 points per correct answer. 1 point per correct answer. So now I see that this is out of 4. And as I do this correctly, I should be getting C points as I'm doing it here. And now I get 4 out of 4. So that item looks pretty good. I think we're ready to go. And all I need to do now, there's a bunch of other options here, but I'm not going to worry about them. All I need to do now is to publish this option, or and that'll basically make it available for assessments. So I click publish, and that item is done. It is published and ready to go. Okay. If I ever want to make a copy of that, or I notice I have a problem with that, I can clone this item and just change the things that are wrong with it before deleting the old version. So now I'm going to create another item. We'll go a little quicker now. So I'm going to do this as a classification item. Again, same core. So I'm going to go and do this under the same core as I did the last one. Tracker, same standard and everything. Okay, continue. Oh, must add a title. I'm going to do question 2. I'm pretty creative when it comes to my question names. So with that being said, now I am going to be able to do a classification item. This allows me to classify things. I'm going to do a very similar type of question. You could do many different types of questions, but I'm going to say, in this case, I'm going to say classify the following. I'm going to have two columns. You could do more. 1 row, and the column titles, instead of sample column 1, I'm going to put animal, and I'm going to put plant. Okay, and under the options here, instead of choice A, B, and C, I'm going to put different things here like a lily, a rose, a potato, and let's say a spider. Okay, so really can't spell potato. What the heck, man? Okay, I think that's right. Anyway, so we're going to move this into now the answer key, so I can make this correct here. I don't know if potato's a plant. I'm talking about a potato plant. That's probably not a good example. And I'm again giving 1 point for all correct answers as exact match. This allows me to, I can again shuffle the options if I want to, or allow for duplicate responses, meaning that I can put in Lily in 2 different places. It's not going to leave this bottom box. I don't know. Not really appropriate in this question. And then more options. I think it will be appropriate again for me to change the scoring type here from exact match to partial match per element in this case. The other options are per cell or whatnot. I'm going to say per element, meaning per choice at the bottom. I want to give them a point. So we can test that out. At the very top, we see that we have 4 points. Let's test it out. I like to do this before I publish. Potato, rose, lily. Unless Lily is a person, then it should be an animal. Anyway, 4 out of 4. We are good to go, and I'm going to publish this one as well. Publish. Okay, let's do another one, shall we? Add items. There's a walkthrough for each of these items, by the way, in the online PD, and I will showcase those resources below the video in our course. So I'm going to now do an image drop-down option. This is kind of neat. Science, again, old core, and my test class, and there, and this is going to be Q3, and we'll continue. Here we go. Question 3. Let's do this thing. It's got an image already. I'm going to change this image and replace it with something on my desktop right now, which is not going to be all that exciting, but let's do, this looks good. something like this. Okay, cool. All right. So what I'm going to do is then save that. Now that's my new image. The top is going to be class or name each product, let's say. And okay. Now I'm going to add in the response positions here. Add in this one and add another one. Oh, I already have one in here. So we're going to go 1, 2. Oh boy, it's freaking out. Don't freak out on me. 1, 2. I'm going to add a new one. Option 3 and 4 are up here apparently. 3 and 4 and option 5. Okay, so I'm just placing these where I would like, and this is a really obvious question, right? But I can add in all of the different options for each one here. So I'm going to do response 1. The options are go formative, maybe they're Kahoot, and Mentimeter, so on. Quickly, you can see how I would do this anyway. And I'm going to just put A, B, and C now for these because I don't want to write everything. Waste your time. Okay, so you'll see those options now. And I get to set the correct answer. So go formative is that first one. Let's say A is the correct answer for all these other ones. Cool. Now I can, of course, shuffle the options within each question again if I want to. That's all good. All right. Again, it's going to be by default to do exact match only for points, and so if I go to more options, I'm going to go partial match per response. Once you've set that to partial match per response, you can start to hit up and test this out. So we've got, now we can test this out to make sure go formative is correct. A, we've got A for each of these. It's gonna, all right, A, all right, and now we should have 5 out of 5. Looks good. Okay, I'm going to publish this and now put all these into a test. I've made 3 different types of items here. We're going to put them all into an assessment. And publish, make sure this is published. Maybe I didn't click that right. Sometimes this happens where you have to click publish a few times here until the draft thing goes away. Now I've got all 3 questions. I'm going to go in and build this assessment. So as I build the assessment, I go in under assessments, I click add assessment, and now I'm going to choose subject, which will be science, same core as I had before. Under Utah, the old core, and class, I'm going to choose this to be based on that test class, and this is all in that one standard SC1. Okay, item authored, and the assessment source is going to be my bank of questions. Okay, I see these 3 questions, I can then add them to my test, just like this by clicking that plus button. Okay, I can move things around if I need to, but that's really it. Now I just give a total. There are 13 points available. I say in order to get mastery, maybe you need to get 12. To be proficient, you need to get 10. Approaching, maybe 8. That's again up to me based on my assessment, and I create the assessment. Cool. Let's show you how this looks for students really quick. So I'm going to add this to a tracker, to my test class tracker that I've been talking about. I add it to the tracker. I get in, I want to deliver that assessment, so I click it here. Students will go to this particular code, so 538085. 538085, and enter a student ID. For this one, I just have some really simple test students, and this is what it will look like. These 3 questions, question 1, question 2, question 3, just like we did, and then students will click finished. That's it. That's the intro to item authoring. There's a lot more to learn about each different item type. And if you need help, please reach out. We're happy to help you.